Okay. And again, for those online, I'll go ahead and reread it. This is the New Living Translation, and I just really like the way it phrased it. So, after the birth of Methuselah, Enoch lived in close fellowship with God for another 300 years, and he had sons and daughters. Enoch lived 365 years, walking in close fellowship with God. Then one day he disappeared because God took him. So that's Genesis 5:22-24. Okay, you're up. Jude 14:15.
You heard the last time, you know we're gonna find you sick in the car seat, 'cause you're not up to going out on the main streets, completing your mission. You heard the
ungodliness, and all of the defiant words ungodly sinners have spoken against him.
Okay, yeah. So Enoch, who lived in the 7th generation after Adam, prophesied about these people. He said, "Listen, the Lord is coming with countless thousands of his holy ones to execute judgment on the people of the world. He will convict every person of all ungodly things they have done for all the insults that ungodly sinners have spoken against him." That's everything the Bible tells us about Enoch. But yet he's in the Hall of Faith. He is a person that Paul recognizes as someone as having a great, great faith. So what did we learn about Enoch? There are 7 main points that I picked up in those, so I'm hoping to fish those out of you guys. So let's go back to Hebrews 11:5, where it says, "It was by faith Enoch was taken up to heaven without dying." So what does that tell us? He never died. Isn't that amazing? Do any of you know anyone who's never died? No. The Bible only talks about one other person being taken up to heaven without dying. Can anyone tell me who? Noah? Elijah. So those are 2 men that God was so pleased with, they never experienced death. They were just walking on earth one moment, the next moment they were up in heaven. Isn't that fantastic? It tells us he had faith. He was known as a person who, what? To God. He pleased God. Isn't that a fantastic thing? Who here would like to know that they can please God? Yeah, I do too. It's not always easy, but he is always faithful, even when we're not. Okay, in Hebrews 6, it says that anyone who wants to come to God must believe that God exists and that he rewards those who sincerely seek him. So I think that's another description that we can apply to Enoch, that he was someone who believed in God and that he sincerely sought to please God. Genesis 5:22-24, again, it talks about him walking in close fellowship with God. In fact, he walked with God in such close fellowship that it says it twice, doesn't it? Because in verse 22 it says Enoch lived in close fellowship with God, and then in verse 24 it says Enoch lived 365 years walking in close fellowship with God. Normally in the Bible, if something gets repeated like that, it's for emphasis. So like I believe Sam brought this example up in the past where if something's holy, okay, yeah, that's pretty cool, that's holy. But if something's holy, it's like, okay, that's pretty holy. But when it describes God, it says holy, holy, holy. And that's like, whoa, that's holy. It's something that needs reverence. So the fact that the Bible tells us twice that Enoch walked in close fellowship with God, that tells us that it was a very close bond between the two of them. We know that he was in the 7th generation after Adam. In fact, if you look at the timelines in Genesis 5, Enoch knew Adam. His great-great-great-great-grandfather was still alive when he was a child and young adult. And so they most likely had a relationship, right? Just like you have relationships with your grandparents, if you're fortunate enough to have great-grandparents that are still here, you know. So he knew his ancestry. Jude 14th also tells us that he prophesied, right? As a matter of fact, he was the first prophet ever recorded in the Bible. Those previous 6 generations, there were no prophets. So Enoch's the first. He's the first prophet. Now, does anyone remember what Enoch prophesied? What did Brooke read? Does anyone remember? Some pretty scary stuff. He said, "Listen, the Lord's coming with countless thousands of his holy ones to execute judgment on the people of the world." So on everyone. He will convict every person of all the ungodly things they have done and for all the insults that ungodly sinners have spoken against him. Anyone looking forward to that day? I'm not. I'll be honest with you, I'm not. I know who I am and who I've been. And I deserve judgment. We all do. But we have a God, and he's bigger and better and badder than all of us. So, to walk in close fellowship with God, Enoch walked in close fellowship because he had faith. What does it look like to walk in faith? We have 3 verses that I'm going to give you tonight. I want to encourage you to, if you're into memorizing scripture at all, these 3 should be the first 3 that you ever memorize, because they speak to God's faithfulness. And as we talked about before, the first one is Hebrews 11:1. Faith is the confidence that we hope for will actually happen. Let me say that one again. Faith is the confidence that what we hope for will actually happen. It gives us assurance about things we cannot see. So faith is believing in things we can't see. 2 Corinthians 5:7, for we walk by faith, not by sight. And then finally, Proverbs 3:5 and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not on your own understanding, in all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. So walking by faith means to trust in God. Trust that God is giving us good things even when they look like sucky gifts. Right? It means that we know God is with us even in our toughest and most stressful times. It means that we can find peace in our hearts when the world is crashing in around us. I want to address any Buckeye high schoolers that are here tonight that may still be upset about the loss of your peer. I've been there too. I know exactly the emotions you're going through far too well. It takes time to get over it. So if you want someone to talk to, someone who's been there, who knows what you're feeling, please come talk to me tonight, because we can share our stories and we can talk through it. So, but I know this has been an exceedingly difficult year for everyone. We're facing challenges with the pandemic we never imagined a year ago tonight. A year ago tonight, everything was normal. No masks. We could hug our friends. We could be very free in some ways that are not afforded to us right now. So, and the isolation can seem overwhelming. Your classmates be overwhelmed by a sense of hopelessness. Some of you may be overwhelmed with a sense of hopelessness right now because of pandemic, life at home sucks, school's stressful. There's any number of reasons. So we need to walk by faith to get through our daily struggles and challenges. We need to trust God's heart is for us. And I personally believe that God is specifically molding your generation for great things. That He has a plan for your future, that this pandemic and all the struggles you're going through is preparation for a bright and exciting future for you. So take heart. Trust Jesus with all your heart, and He will guide your steps. And that's all I have prepared for tonight. Sorry if it took a little less than 4 hours. So, so do you? I was gonna say, do you?
Sure. There we go. Thank you, Joy. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's always fun to learn more about a more minor character in the Bible, such as Enoch. We are going to break into a brief time of life groups here in a moment. But before we do that, I just kind of want to touch on a little bit of what Joy said for a moment. I know those of you who are at Buckeye Valley know what had happened this week. If you don't know, a Buckeye Valley student lost their life to suicide this week. And I want to take a moment real quick as a group just to address that. Those of you who know me well know that in my first 6-7 months here at the church, one of my close friends was also lost to suicide, and I've seen it time and time again in my life. It's a hard topic, right? It is something that gets at the core of a lot of who we are. It hurts deeply. It is hard to reconcile. It's hard to heal from. It is a wound that cuts deep, and that will cut deep for a long time. Talking through some Buckeye Valley students these last few days, dredged up a lot of memories of the handful of friends that I've lost to suicide over the last few years. So in all seriousness, as real as I can be with you guys, if that is something that you are struggling with, whether on your own end or whether you are struggling with the pain from having lost someone to that, please talk to us. Please, we are not a magical fix. We are not, I can't snap my fingers and make your pain, make your hurt go away. It's not how pain and hurt works. But this is real. This is something that impacts all of us in one way or another. So let us walk through that with you, right? We've been talking a lot recently about what the church is, what the church is not, and your church, your youth group, your community can be more than just the place you hang out with on Sunday nights. It can be more than just even your life group that you go to. It can be your rock, the people that are really going to walk through hard times with you. So, like I said, if you are struggling on your own end with suicidal thoughts or depression, please talk to us. We'd love to just talk through that with you, pray with you, just be in your corner on that. Or if you have lost someone recently and just need to talk to somebody about it, need to cry with somebody about it, please let us know. We love to, I love to sit and cry with you. Because sometimes we just need someone to listen. We just need someone to be there for us. So allow us to be there for you. We love you so much. I know I say it all the time, but I am not here just because it's my job. I'm here because I want to be here. Our leaders are not here because I make them come. They're here because they love you guys and they care about you guys so much. So all that to say, please, if there's something that's going on, let us know. We'd love to talk with you, pray with you, cry with you, maybe even laugh with you if that's what you need. But we would love to just support you in what is a really hard time for a lot of us. We are going to break into a brief time of small groups. In this time, I just encourage you guys to talk a little bit about, this idea that Joy talked about of walking closely with God. Right? We've been talking so much about the character of who God is, and then now we're kind of moving into what it looks like to have faith in God. And Enoch is clearly somebody who walked closely with God. So what does it look like then for us to try to emulate that, for us to try to be like that? When all is said and done on each of our lives, will it be said that, that we were people who walked closely with God, had close fellowship with God? So I think girls will probably be one group tonight. So girls, kind of back by the Gaga ball pits. Middle school guys, this corner as per usual. High school guys, this corner. We will gather back here in 10 to 15 minutes.